The year is 1348. Over the next 12 months, a third of Europe is going to disappear. You're in Europe, by the way. But relax. Right now, the biggest problem in your life is a cat. Let's start there. You wake up on a straw mattress in a little medieval town. No bills, no toxic boss, no social media. Also no sewers, no dentists, and no soap. Life is simple. Violently simple. You're the blacksmith's apprentice. Your career plan. In 20 years, if everything goes right, you become the blacksmith. Deadlines were different in 1348. And you have a cat. Gray, fat, deeply useless. He doesn't hunt, doesn't obey, doesn't like you. You're best friends. Quick question, and it matters more than it looks. When everyone in town agrees on something completely wrong, do you go along? Think about it. Your answer is worth a continent. And today, without knowing it, you make one tiny decision that will decide everything. It's not dramatic. There's no music. You won't even notice it. Hold on to that. At the market, the topic of the week, a new sickness, far away, down south. Ships, ports, people dying. The town listens, goes, and returns to debating the price of turnips. Because far away is the official location of tragedy, isn't it? Always far away. Until the day far away knocks. News travels by horse, so every rumor arrives 3 weeks late and 4 times bigger. 1,000 dead in Genoa becomes Genoa no longer exists. Be honest. You, hearing this today, with the entire internet in your hand, would you change a single routine? Exactly. They had a bell and a priest. Cut them some slack. So life goes on. You hammer crooked iron, the cat ignores a rat in the barn, and the summer of 1348 begins beautifully. Enjoy this paragraph. It's the last good one. Because guess what else arrives with the summer? June. A merchant arrives from the port with a fever and some strange lumps. The town doctor examines him, thinks hard, and delivers the official diagnosis, probably the heat. Within a week, the heat is in 6 houses. Within 2, 20. And the town discovers, in real time, that it has absolutely no idea what it's dealing with. Here's what nobody connects. It all started at the ports. Genoese ships arriving from the Black Sea with spices, silks, and, free of charge, down in the hold, the deadliest stowaways in history, rats. With fleas. With the plague. But rats are small, and fear needs a culprit of the right size. So the town calls an assembly and produces, with great confidence, the 3 official theories. Theory 1. The air. Miasma. Bad air. The disease is floating around like an evil smell. Proposed solution. Sniffing flowers. Yes, flowers. Against the deadliest pandemic in history, a bouquet. Theory 2. Divine punishment. Solution. Pray louder, donate more, and, spoiler for the next chapter, whip yourself in public. In groups. We'll get there. Theory 3. And pay attention, because this one's personal. It's the cats. Creatures of witchcraft. Suspicious eyes. They walk at night. Case closed. And here's the cruelest joke of the century. Cats were the only thing in town killing the rats that carried the fleas that carried the plague. Exterminating cats during the plague is like stabbing a hole in your own lifeboat. Mid-shipwreck. By vote. With applause. Remember the tiny decision? This is it. The guard knocks on your door asking about your cat. And you, out of pure sentimental stubbornness, zero science involved, lie. Cat? What cat? And you hide him in the cellar. Congratulations. You just made the only correct decision anyone in this town will make for the next 12 months. You don't know that. Nobody knows that. The cat knows. He won't thank you. Meanwhile, your neighbor, the optimist, develops his own protection system. Half an onion in every corner of the house to absorb the evil. He's going to come out of this story better than everyone. Write that down. July arrives, and with it, the bill. Half the market doesn't open anymore. And for the first time, you can smell the fear across the whole town, right under the flowers. Which leaves one question hanging. What happens when the doctors arrive, in a town that has no idea what it's fighting? You're about to find out, personally. And then, one July morning, you wake up with a headache. It's probably the hay. It's probably the heat. You tell one person. Mistake. Within 2 hours, the whole town knows. Within 3, the doctor is at your door. And that's when you learn the most important lesson of medieval medicine. Sometimes, the treatment is the danger. First, bloodletting. The theory is you have too much blood. The solution is to remove some, with a blade. In an era when nobody washes their hands, what could go wrong, besides absolutely everything? Then, Theriac, a syrup with 64 ingredients, including viper flesh and opium. 2 weeks of your salary for the little vial. Tastes like a swamp. Effectiveness? Well, it had opium. You stop complaining. And the crown jewel, an official method prescribed by real doctors, strapping a live chicken to the patient. The logic? The chicken draws out the disease. The chicken disagrees. The two of you spend the afternoon together, embarrassed. And before you laugh at them, this town is facing the apocalypse with the tools it has. You, with your tools, once slept in wet socks to cure a cold. Moving on. Miraculously, your fever breaks in 3 days. It was just a flu. The doctor charges you for the 3 days, for the chicken, and for saving your life. The chicken gets nothing. But the town wasn't so lucky. August arrives, and the church bell, the one that rang for Mass, now rings all day for another reason. Until the bell ringer loses count. And then come the flagellants. Processions of men whipping themselves in public, town to pay the punishment. Crowds gather to watch. Now put the words epidemic and crowd in the same sentence, and guess what happens next? The gravediggers, meanwhile, become the new elite. They charge whatever they want. One of them buys the mayor's house. In every catastrophe, somebody finds the business model. Prices go insane. A chicken now costs a month's salary. And mind you, you personally know a chicken who worked harder than the doctor. And here the video stops joking for 10 seconds, because the number deserves it. In 4 years, the plague took between a third and half of Europe. 25 to 50 million people. Look at the 2 people closest to you right now. In 1348, one of you 3 doesn't finish the year. Whole town simply stopped answering. On your street, 3 houses still light up at night. Yours, the gravediggers, and the onion neighbors. Going strong, changing his onions weekly, and wishing everyone a good morning. And you start noticing something strange. In your house, nothing. No fever, no lumps, no doctor visits. You don't understand it. You say thank you, and you don't ask questions. Let me tell you what you can't see. Down in your cellar, that fat, useless cat has spent the entire year doing the only thing he knows, being a cat. No rats in the house. No rats, no fleas. No fleas, no plague. Your laziest friend is the reason you exist. Meanwhile, the town tries everything. Bells, smoke, processions, locking doors, unlocking doors, blaming travelers, blaming wells, blaming neighbors. Everything except the answer, which is purring in your cellar. Which leaves just one question. How long can a town keep trying everything except the right thing? Winter cools the fleas, not that anyone knows that, and the plague, slowly, loosens its grip. The town reopens one window at a time, like someone testing whether the world still bites. In spring, the survivors take inventory. Half the jobs no longer have owners. And then the strangest thing of the century happens. The worker gains bargaining power. It's a historical fact. After the plague, wages doubled. The blacksmith promotes you. You now make in 1 month what you used to make in 3. It only cost the apocalypse. And of course, the town wants to understand why some survived. They form a committee, they review the cases, and they arrive with full pomp at the official conclusion. It was the onions. Your neighbor becomes a celebrity. He gives talks, he sells blessed onions outside the church, and you, the only one who did the right thing, go into the records as survivor. Reason unknown. You try to tell them about the cat. Once. The whole square goes silent. Somebody coughs the word witchcraft, and you wisely decide that the onion won. The king, needing to pay for the chaos, invents a brand new tax on survivors. You read the decree twice. Surviving, officially, costs extra. And quarantine? The genius idea of making ships wait 40 days before docking? Invented 30 years later, in a different city. The manual always arrives in the next edition. But the real answer? The cause? That one takes a little longer. 550 years, to be exact. 1894. A laboratory. A scientist hunched over a microscope finally finds the culprit. A bacterium carried by fleas, carried by rats. Rats that died wherever there was a cat. In some archive, in some little town, a record still reads, "Survivor of 1348. Reason unknown." You were right. 550 years before science. History doesn't owe you an apology. History doesn't even know your name. The onion, by the way, is still sold as a cold remedy in some homes to this day. Your neighbor's marketing outlived the empire. Quick recap of your year. The town blamed the air, the stars, and the cats. It tried flowers, bloodletting, whips, a chicken, and an onion. And the answer, the whole time, had whiskers and slept 16 hours a day in your cellar. That's how your year in the Black Plague ends. Alive out of loyalty to a cat that doesn't like you, taxed for surviving, and beaten in the credits by an onion. The cat, if he could talk, would say he always knew, and he wouldn't say anything else.